All right. Shalom, shalom. We're the real Hebrew Israelites coming day in and day out to prophesy downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. First off and foremost, our praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstones, salutations to the elect, wherever you may be. And as you see in the title, Russia, China, and North Korea. All right, which is when you get into geopolitics, right, you have a lot of things that's going on right now. All right, one of those things is World War III getting geared up. The stage is being set. All right, like the scriptures speak of. Okay, I'm gonna show you some TV. So I got a couple of things I want to go into real quick. All right. Now it says, and this is CNN. This happened. When was this date? August 31st. All right. It says Russia and North Korea are actively advancing their negotiations over a potential arms deal that would provide significant ammunition and different types of weapons systems, including artillery, and the latest indication that Kremlin is desperate to obtain further material for its faltering invasion in Ukraine, according to the newly released U.S. intelligence. The news of the potential deal comes despite North Korea's public claim to contrary. All right. Biden's administration said Wednesday that they remain concerned that the two pariah states are in the middle of an arms negotiation, and that following Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu's trip to North Korea last month, a second delegation of Russian officials have visited Pyongyang for further discussions on a potential deal. In addition to the second delegation, Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korea leader Kim Jong-un have exchanged letters pledging to increase their bilateral cooperation according to National Security Council strategy. All right, so they're in talks. All right, like when you read the scriptures, all right, the thing that pops in your head is what? Ezekiel 38th chapter. All right, Magog is going to be a guard unto these other nations. All right, now we already know China and Russia is linked. Matter of fact, I think I got one. Right. So when you look this up, it says, are China and Russia military allies? Although they have although they have no formal alliance, the two countries do have an informal agreement to coordinate diplomatic and economic moves and build up an alliance against the United States. So if they're already doing that on the political side, how much more on the military side? How much if they're doing it to the economy and all that, and trying to build up against this harlot, like the scriptures calls it, all right, war is coming, all right. That's all you could get of the conversation between the two, all right. So you go from that report to this one. This is from TheGuardian.com. Now, this is what Babylon is saying to North Korea. North Korea will pay a price if it supplies arms to Russia, says U.S. All right, providing weapons to Moscow for Ukraine war will not reflect well on North Korea. Now, here's the hypocrisy. America, you're supplying weapons and money to Ukraine, So who the hell are you to tell another country that they can't supply arms to Russia? All right, whether you try to put tariffs on it, listen, the economy is changing. Pretty soon your tariffs ain't even gonna fucking matter. All right, there's gonna be all out war on Babylon the Great. Okay, and you small hatters. Okay, but you know what? That's why the scriptures call Babylon the Great the hammer of the earth, who did make the whole world shake. All right. Because when you came with that nuke, all right, that weapon, all right, which Yahweh Shem Shai helped you create, you had a lock on everything. But now the playing field is leveled, all right? North Korea knows how to make them. And best believe, they got them. China got them. Russia got them, all right? Babylon the Great is only so big. Rome could only be stretched so thin, all right? Which it is now. All right, now check the hypocrisy. I want to play this video real quick.
Max Blumenthal came on my show last week. He talked about how he calls them the Beltway bandits there in DC, how they're privately saying, we need to end this war, this is awful, we support Ukraine, and yet privately they're...
Now, these are politicians talking about they need to end the war, but we all know war is what? Big money, all right? And we know who funds both sides of the war, starting with the small hatters.
They're making millions and millions of dollars off of this war by being contractors and connected to the military-industrial complex. Do you think there's truth to what Max Blumenthal is saying, where there's this double standard of publicly saying, oh, we need to really support these guys, but privately, they would love this war to go on because they'll get another beach house or another $1 million in the bank? What are your thoughts on that?
Max has really studied this much more than I have. And my experience with Max Blumenthal is if he tells you something, you can take it to the bank. You can drive through Great Falls and McLean and all these various suburbs, go over to Potomac, Maryland, and yes, you can see all the mansions rising, the lucrative rewards for being involved in pushing this war and pushing this, what I call a cash and equipment swap, where we say we're sending $1 billion worth of equipment to Ukraine. Well, the equipment tends to show up, although a lot of it obviously disappears into the black market, perhaps as much as a third of it or more. But the cash really doesn't get to Ukraine. It's sort of laundered from Congress over to the Defense Department into the military industries.
Right. These, your own Babylonians doing this to make what? A profit. All right? That was when they said they misplaced, what was that, $7 billion? Nah, y'all was just cleaning money, man. All right? It didn't get misplaced. All right? So you're funding the country, a country with weapons, but North Korea can't fund Russia or vice versa. All right? That's hypocrisy. All right? That's why Yahweh Shem Shai is going to deal with this country the way he is. All right?
And then, of course, a lot of it finds its way back in terms of the profits to people who are shareholders in the industries or working there, or frankly, in the form of campaign contributions to political action committees and so forth. So he's absolutely right. I don't know the details, but I think he's absolutely right. The larger issue here, of course, is that there is now discussion behind the scenes of, well, maybe we should get out of this before this gets worse. There are people saying that in the White House, the Department of Defense, and Department of State, but there's chaos. We've never had a coherent strategy. So what we've had are these outrageous claims and policy stances from which you cannot easily retreat. If you say, we are here until Russia is destroyed and Ukraine is liberated and on and on and on, suddenly becomes obvious that, well, I'm sorry, Russia's not going away, but Ukraine could.
There you go.
Shalom, shalom.
And the brother had brought this out, sent to Jersey too. All right, was that hey, it shows you how Esau plays both sides. All right, especially Babylon the Great. Whether hey, and you see it in the movies how America sells weapons on the black market. All right, these private contractors and things of that nature. But nonetheless, you're giving weapons to Ukraine, but North Korea can't give weapons to Russia. How? It doesn't make sense. All right. So let's get this. Let me play one more video.
Meeting between the leaders of Russia and North Korea is now in the works. CBS News has learned Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin will meet later this month to discuss arms negotiations between the two countries as Moscow continues its war in Ukraine.
So that's called the alliance. And best believe, I believe China and Russia got a whole pipeline connected. All three of these players are in bed with each other to come up against who? Babylon the Great, right? And your other countries, BRICS. Hey, Babylon the Great is completely surrounded at this point, man. All right?
Yeah, MTS Tayab is in Kyiv following the latest for us. MTS, good morning.
Benny, Rita, good to be with you. Well, the White House is really calling on Kim to cease negotiations with Putin and commit to his promise not to provide arms to Moscow.
Why do I gotta fucking listen to you? What sense does that make? Why in the fuck must I listen to you? All right, and you're the one that's causing hell all over the earth, right? Exactly. This is the same man that's causing hell all over the fucking earth. Let's play some more.
A major deal between the repressive regimes is very close.
Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un are no strangers. The leaders met in the far eastern Russian city of Vladivostok in 2019 for their first ever summit, where they vowed to boost ties between their nations. Now, 18 months into President Putin's unprovoked war on Ukraine, Moscow wants help from Pyongyang. According to the New York Times, a major weapons deal is on the table, with Kim expected to make the roughly 400-mile journey back to Vladivostok on his armored train to meet with Putin later this month. He will reportedly discuss exchanging a significant quantity of North Korean-made weapons and ammunition for advanced Russian satellite technology, nuclear-powered submarines, and food aid.
So there you go. It's called a trade, right? Getting subs, nukes, things of that nature. What are these countries and nations building up for? It's right before your eyes. It's written in the scriptures, all right? It's World War III, that great war that's talked about in the Bible, all right? And guess what? Babylon, America, hey, you're not going to win this one, all right? You're prophesied to go down, to burn, all right? Now let's get some scriptures. This is Ezekiel. You already know I'm going straight to it. 38:1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God in the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them, and say, Thus saith Yahweh thy power. Behold, I am against thee, O God, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, and thy horses, and thy horsemen, and all of them clothed with sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, with them all, Salakia, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, which is Turkey, and his bands, the house of Tagarmah in the north quarters. Tagarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto him. So, be a guard unto them. Russia is the ringleader. That's who all these countries and other nations are coming up under. These are all these. Russia is who all the other nations are going to assemble themselves under to fight what? This war against Babylon the Great. All right? And it's funny, you Russians and you Babylonians, you the same Edomites. All right? So it's a house divided. All right? The Lord is going to allow you guys to destroy each other. Your kingdom is falling. All right? And this is prophecies right before our eyes. All right? This is Joel 3 and 10. I'm starting now. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what North Korea is doing. And all these lesser or inferior countries. All right? Because like I said earlier, the playing field is leveled. All right? Nukes are out there. All right? The Lord, he made the Smith, the blower. All right? All these other nations have that technology. All right? Iran has it. Russia has it. North Korea has it. China has it. And all its allies. All right? So like I said, the hypocrisy of America. Who are you to tell me what the fuck I could trade between me and another country? Worry about your own business. But deep down inside, Babylon knows its destruction is at hand. Okay? And that's it. A couple of news clips, I want to bring out a couple of scriptures, man. Hey, this is almost it. At the end of the day, before that happens, this MOTB has to be pushed. That new world currency has to be pushed. All right? So our salvation is near. So with that, and I pray this is edifying. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Karkadash. Double honors to the other apostles, a great millstone, salutations to the elect, wherever we may be. Abba, Abba,